Good day, students. Welcome to Mathgotserved.com. In this clip, we're going to be going over section 3.1 of our series on operations on decimals and numbers. We're going to be looking at how to multiply multi-digit numbers by powers of 10 in this presentation. It's a continuation of what we covered in section 1.1. So the type of problems we're going to be covering in this tutorial are depicted here. Find the following product. So we have 85 times various powers of 10 expressed in exponential format. Don't forget, we have 5 practice problems at the end of this presentation that we'd like you to try out in order to demonstrate mastery of the contents of this tutorial. Alright, to get us started, we're going to do a real quick review on the powers of 10. Shortcuts that we can use to facilitate the computation of powers of 10. Okay, so let's review that real quick. So based on what we went over in Unit 1, Lesson 1.1 presentation, we talked about a quick way to compute powers of 10. 10 to the 0th power is 1. And then 10 to the first power is just 10. We know that the power represents how many times 10 occurs in the expanded form as a product of factors. Okay, and then 10 to the second power, what is that? Since the exponent is 2, that means 10 is multiplied by itself twice, which yields 100. Alright, let's do it in a long way one more time, and then we're going to use a shortcut. Alright, 10 to the third power is 10 times itself 3 times, which is 1000. Okay, so you remember what the shortcut is. The power, when 10 is written in exponent form, tells you how many zeros you have, right? So 10 to the 1, you have 1 0. 10 to the 0, you have no zeros. 10 to the second power, you have 2 zeros. 10 to the third power, you have 3 zeros. Okay, so that's a quick way. Instead of writing it as 10 times itself a certain number of times, you can just jump to the expanded form or the final answer. Okay, so let's apply that idea to 10 to the 4th power. What is 10 to the 4th power going to be? It's going to be 1 with how many zeros? 4 zeros, right? So let's take the comma out of there. So it's going to be 1 with 4 zeros, which is basically 10,000. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at some examples. Let's do one more just to emphasize. Number 6, 10 to the 5th power. It's going to be 1 with 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 100,000. Okay, so for number 1 and 2, instructions are for us to multiply the following. Okay. Alright, so let's take a look at question number 1. So for question 1, what if we have 47 times 1, 47 times 10, 47 times 100, 47 times 1000, and lastly 47 times 10,000. Alright, okay, so let's take a look at the first one. 47 times 1, we know the identity on the multiplication is multiplying by 1, so whenever you multiply a number by 1, you always end up with what you started with, which is just 47. 47 times 10 is 470. Now what's the trick here? Basically, you multiply, when you're multiplying 47 by 10, you attach the number of zeros that the power of 10 has in its expanded form. You just attach it to the number you're multiplying by. Okay, so if you take a look at our review scenario right here, when we multiplied 10 times 10, these two zeros, we just put them next to each other to give you 100. We had 10 times 10 times 10, we had 3 zeros, and the 3 zeros showed up at 1000. 1 times 1 times 1 is just 1. Okay, so the same procedure applies here. You look at the number of zeros the power of 10 in its expanded form has, and then you just attach it to the number on the left. So you have 1 0 here, 10 times 47, so your product will have just 1 0. Okay? All right, let's apply that idea to the next product. 47 times 100 is going to be 4, 7, and you append the 2 zeros, 0, 0. Okay? And then 47 times 1,000, or let's put a comma here, 4,700. And then 47 times 1,000, you're going to have 4, 7, which is a product of 47 and 1, and then you have the 3 zeros, 47,000. And then 47 times 10,000, you're going to have 47. 47 times 1, and then 47 times the zeros will all yield zeros, 0, 0, 4 zeros, 0, 0, 470,000. Okay? So there goes the answers to question number 1A. Now let's take a look at another example where our powers of 10 are written in exponential form. So what if we have 50 times 10 to the 0? And we have 50 times 10 to the first power, 50 times 10 to the second, 50 times 10 to the third, and then 50 times 10 to the fourth. All right, let's go ahead and try these out. All right, so for number 2A, 50 times 10 to the 0, let's simplify using our order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We know that before you multiply and divide, you have to do the parentheses and exponents first, okay? So we don't have parentheses here, we just have exponents. So you do the exponents component first before you multiply, following the order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, okay? So keep that in mind. All right, so if we do the exponent part first, 10 to the 0 is going to be 1. We talked about that earlier in section 1.1. So this becomes 50 times 1, all right? And then 50 times 1 is just 50, the multiplicative identity. All right, 50 times 10 to the first is going to be 50 times 10 in expanded form. Remember, the power tells you how many zeros the power of 10 will have in its expanded form. Okay, so 50 times 10 is going to be 50, and then you add on the 0 from the 10. That's your answer. C part, 50 times 10 square is 10 times 10, or 100, 2 zeros. Notice the number of zeros in the exponent have to match. 50 times 100 is going to be 50 hundreds, so it's going to be 50, and then add on the 2 zeros. Answer is 5,000. 50 times 10 to the third is going to be 50 times 1,000. 3 zeros, 10 to the third in its expanded form is 1,000. 50 times 1,000 is going to be 50,000. As a final answer, that's your product right there. Okay? And then one more for number 2. 50 times 10 to the fourth is 50 times 10 with, we're going to have 1 with 4 zeros, so that will be 10,000. And then your final answer is going to be 500,000 as your final answer. So 50, and then you add on the 4 zeros there, you have a total of 5 zeros, 500,000. Okay? So there you have it. All right, so now let's do the reverse. Let's talk about how to express numbers that have been expanded fully in a format that involves powers of 10. Okay, so for question 3, consider the following. What if you were to express the numbers as the product of a multi-digit number, as the product of a multi-digit number, and a power of 10. So the power of 10, we're going to write it in exponential and expanded forms. Okay, so 3a, let's say we have 590. So how can we write 590 as a product of a multi-digit number and a power of 10? We have only one zero there, which is equivalent to 10. So this number is going to be 59 times 10 to the first power, or just 59 times 10. Okay? All right, let's try another example. Part B, what if we have the number 79,000? What is this one going to be? 79,000 is going to be 79 times 10 to the what power? 79 times, you have 1, 2, 3 zeros, so we can write it as 79 times 1,000, or 79 times 10 to the third power, because we have 3 zeros there. That's 1,000, and the exponential form is 10 to the third. Part C. 5,200. How can we write this? As a multi-digit number times the power of 10. We have 2 zeros there, so it's going to be 52 times 100. And you can write that as 52 times 10 to the second power. Okay? All right, now let's consider another question. Question number 4. Let's say we have a number, an expanded number, and we want to write it as a multi-digit number times the power of 10. Let's say you have 400,000, right? And you want to write 400,000 as 40 times 10 to the what power? 400,000 is 40 times 10 to the what power? What do you think? Well, let's work it out. So it's going to be 400 is going to be 40 when it do, because we have 40 as a factor on the left, okay, times 10 to a certain power. So we take 40 out. How many zeros do we have left? So there are 5 zeros here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we take away 1 zero and attach it to the 40, we are left with 4 zeros. So it's going to be 40 times 10,000. You see that? Count the number of zeros. They're 5, and that's exactly what 400,000 has, 5 zeros. Writing it as a power, 40 times the power of 10 is going to be 40 times 10 to the what? 4 zeros? 10 to the 4th. There you have it. Okay? All right, one more question, and then we'll give you some practice problems to try out. Number 5, what is equivalent? What is equivalent to multiplying by 10 to the 5th? So if you want to multiply by 10 to the 5th, what's another way of writing that? So 10 to the 5th is equivalent to what? 10 to the 5th is equivalent to multiplying by, guess what? 1 followed by 5 zeros, multiplying by 100,000. 1 followed by 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's exactly the same thing. If you multiply a number by 10 to the 5th or by 100,000, you will end up with exactly the same answer. Alrighty, so here are 5 practice problems for you to try out. Go ahead and pause this video presentation at this time and try out these 5 problems. Once you're done, click on the playback button, and we are going to reveal what the correct answers are. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video at this time and try out these 5 problems. Alrighty, so here goes the solutions to question numbers 1 to 5. Go ahead and check your answers. Make sure you have everything correct. Let us know how well you did in the comment section below. If there are any questions on these practice problems or the original presentation examples, let us know in the comment section and we'll be more than glad to support you. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this presentation. Please help support our channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. Don't forget to post a comment to let us know what you got out of this presentation or if you have any questions. Tons of support resources can be found at mathgotserved.com or just take a look at the links in the description below. Thanks again for watching and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.